Hello and good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. State House official takes on NDC President SABOI IMBOELA in a defamation case. Former Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo pleads not guilty to 11 counts. President Hakainde Hichilema implores citizens to get vaccinated as Zambia reaches 70% target. In international news, Tanzania's rapid population growth worries authorities. And in sports news, Green Buffaloes Women's Football Club aims at scoring more goals in Wednesday's encounter against ASFAR of Morocco.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti for your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
Hello again, another news in detail. Former Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo and his wife have pleaded not guilty to 11 counts of corruption-related charges. Mr. Kampyongo, who is also Shiwangandu area member of parliament, has been jointly charged with his wife Wanizia, facing charges of possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime amounting to over 29 million kwacha. The couple appeared before Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya Tuesday, where they denied all the charges. More in this report.
Making his first court appearance Tuesday morning after his arrest 3 weeks ago, former Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampyongo has denied allegations that he acquired property through corruptly means. Mr. Kampyongo, who has been jointly charged together with his wife, Wanizia Chewa, a chief planner at the Ministry of Youth and Sport, have been slapped with 11 counts of possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime. On the 6th of October 2022, the Anti-Corruption Commission arrested the duo for the said offense of being in possession of property worth over 29 million kwacha. They have pleaded not guilty before Magistrate Sylvia Munyinya.
Okay, look, the date today was scheduled for allocation, and it's been allocated to the magistrate to whom we appeared and took plea. If you noticed, our clients denied all the 11 charges. This is basically a build-up from what had transpired when we showed up at the ACC. The matter is now scheduled to come up on the 16th of November for commencement of trial, and we'll update you after hearing on that date.
Allegations in the first to the third count is that the couple between the 1st of January 2012 and the 30th of September 2022 were in possession of property located in Eureka off Kafua Road, valued at 11 million kwacha, a property in Ibex Hill valued at 1.6 million kwacha, a property located off Lilai Road, Libala South, valued at 860,000 kwacha, or property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. The accused are currently on police bond awaiting commencement of their trial on the 16th of November 2022. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Zambia Medicines Regulatory Authority, ZAMRA, has insisted that its decision to revoke the pharmaceutical license of Honeybee Pharmacy Limited remains justifiable and was within its regulatory function and mandate of ensuring compliance to set standards of quality, safety and efficacy of medicines and allied substances. In this matter, Honeybee Pharmacy Limited has sued Zamra in the Lusaka High Court for revoking its license and for allegedly defaming it. However, Zamra, through its acting director, Medicines Control, Nyambe, has submitted before court that Honeybee's claims are misplaced and they have been rendered nugatory because Honeybee Pharmacy Limited was never granted a pharmaceutical license, as the one that was earlier issued to it was revoked on the 12th of February 2021. Here's a report.
As controversy continues before the Lusaka High Court involving the revoking of Honeybee's pharmaceutical license by the Zambia Medicines and Regulatory Agency ZAMRA, the public can only wait and hear the court's outcome over this issue. This is in a case where Honeybee Pharmacy Limited has sued ZAMRA, seeking an order of interim injunction to restrain the latter from revoking its pharmaceutical license. Honeybee Pharmacy Limited is further seeking the court to stop ZAMRA from publishing anything on social media and other platforms calculated to be injuring its reputation. In the latest update on this case, ZAMRA maintains that the step it took remains justifiable and sound at law. The regulatory agency, through its acting director, Medicines and Control, Nyambe, says it's misguided for Honeybee Pharmacy Limited to think that the decision taken to revoke their pharmaceutical license was based on the execution of the contract between it and the Ministry of Health. ZAMRA tells court that it was not a preview of Honeybee Pharmacy Limited's contract with the Ministry of Health and that it acted within its statutory mandate in all the action it took in verifying the quality of medical products supplied by Honeybee Pharmacy. Further, that Honeybee Pharmacy Limited was never granted a pharmaceutical license, as the one that was granted was revoked on the 12th of February 2021 with the revocation procedure under the Medicines and Allied Substance Act 2013. However, in a statement of claim that was earlier filed by Honeybee Pharmacy Limited, it had submitted that in November 2019, it won a tender for the supply of 22,500 health center kits with the Ministry of Health, and a contract was executed to that effect, and that the Ministry of Health awarded it with a $17 million United States contract for the supply of health center kits. But ZAMRA began issuing threats, unverified and disparaging remarks against it, accusing it of supplying defective products in disregard of the certificate of fitness earlier issued by the procuring agents. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Civil Society Debt Alliance has urged government to support law enforcement agencies and capacitate them to enforce the law on all perpetrators of resource mismanagement and all those linked to cases as cited in several reports. Reacting to the recently released 2021 Auditor General's report, CSO San Debt Alliance Coordinator Wakumelo Mata says there is need for investigative wings to institute follow-ups on reported cases to ensure that perpetrators are prosecuted and would-be offenders deterred. Mr. Mata also says government should strengthen regular monitoring and evaluation mechanisms for all government projects, especially those funded using borrowed money, and ensure that no deviations from contractual agreements go unpunished. More in this report.
The 2021 Auditor General's report for the financial year ended 31st December 2021 showed a number of irregularities on 33 heads of revenue and expenditure out of 62 investigated by the authority. The report indicated a number of irregularities in revenue mobilization, such as failure to reconcile and collect tax arrears amounting to 85.7 billion kwacha by the Zambia Revenue Authority despite the arrears being due. Other irregularities were seen in the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, where it failed to collect revenue on issued bills and demand notice of up to 64.5 million kwacha, while the Ministry of Mines failed to collect outstanding area charges of 32.2 million kwacha, among other things. On the expenditure side, the report showed a number of irregularities that saw the country lose huge sums of monies. The Civil Society Debt Alliance, working with the Zambia Tax Platform, undertook an analysis on the report and have made several recommendations to the Zambian government.
When we read the Auditor General's report, we note that some of the channels within which we lost resources was simply failure by government ministries or Zambia Revenue Authority to collect prescribed revenues. There were instances where items were imported into the country, but duty on those items was not collected rather. Secondly, there is a need to strengthen regular monitoring and evaluation mechanisms for all government projects, especially those funded using borrowed money, and to ensure that no deviations from contractual agreements go unpunished. Thirdly, information on cases funded through loans and grants should explicitly be disaggregated. This is a recommendation that we advance to the Auditor General's office.
Others have also called on the government to practice what it preaches if the country is to win the fight against wastage of resources.
What is more important when it comes to dealing with a problem is that you look at the law. So we do have the Procurement Act, which is already in place and running. But what we have seen is that there has been poor adherence to the law pertaining to procurement. That's, I think, the major thing that has to be done on the part of government is to ensure that enforcement is strengthened.
Fine money is borrowed, but it's not actually used for the intended purpose. So since it has already been mentioned and it's part of the 2023 budget, we will actually keep our heads high, and we will actually ensure that even other stakeholders arise and also ensure that we monitor that these borrowed funds are not misused. Because
with Zambia having an aspiration of being a prosperous middle-income country by the year 2030, there is need to increase revenue mobilization streams as well as prudent utilization of resources. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Alliance for Accountability Advocates, in partnership with other stakeholders, have developed content on the Constituency Development Fund for Zambia derived from the 2022 CDF guidelines. Speaking at the launch, Organization Executive Director Luchembe Chilufya says a gap was noticed between government and the public on how they can access and account for CDF funds. Mr. Chilufya says the project, done in partnership with Viamo, is in two forms. One form is a monologue conversation, and the other is a form of interactive voice recordings which can be accessed through online and offline devices. And Mr. Chilufya has also noted that the content is in 5 languages, among them Bemba, Nyanja, and Tonga. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development says information gaps have been noted in the process of CDF, hence the need for people to come up with such innovations that supplement its efforts in delivering the services to the people.
Among many other challenges, I think one of the challenges that we identified is the information gap, and that has led us in developing this platform.
Great health innovations. I've seen great health facilities that provide the best possible health services, and I've also seen health facilities where even the most basic health services are not available. Clearly, more needs to be done. And it's through this innovation that AAAZ has provided that we will be able to achieve this equality, this parity of bringing some of those communities that are left behind and bring them along so that they too can enjoy all the benefits of being able to receive health services. And that's how our partnership with AAAZ came about. It came about organically because we're both interested in this, a vision of our country where no one should have to suffer.
Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, we are entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring the prudent and inclusive administration of the expanded Constituency Development Fund. And therefore, it is gratifying to be part of this novel approach that AAZ and partners have developed to enhance availability of information on CDF, which is aimed at assisting community members to have increased access to information on CDF, including the process of completing applications and developing business plans.
Police in Lusaka have arrested and charged National Democratic Congress President SABOI IMBOELA for the offense of libel contrary to Section 191 of the Penal Code Act, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. Zambia Police spokesperson Ray Hamonga says the suspect is detained in police custody and will appear in court soon. And in a related incident, Mr. Hamonga says a warn and caution statement has been recorded from Ms. SABOI IMBOELA.
In Zambian politics, they say if you have not been arrested, then you are not a politician, and certainly you cannot go to State House. Even President Hakainde Hichilema, while in opposition, was arrested 15 times before he could ascend to power. But it is also true that the arrests only reflect intolerance to divergent views by the governing party. The NDC leader SABOI IMBOELA has emerged among aggressive politicians to face the United Party for National Development UPND administration, and Ms. IMBOELA, in exercising her freedom of expression, which has in many times backfired, has on several occasions labeled the UPND an autocratic government.
Now we are being led by a very autocratic government. Yeah. You have no idea the kind of government we have right now. Some of us that know them well, no wonder we are talking.
Recently, she made what many, especially UPND members, believe were derogatory remarks on her Facebook page. Tuesday, 1st November 2022, Ms. IMBOELA appeared at police headquarters on matters pertaining to hate speech.
I had so many people reporting me from all over the country, and I think this is something that needs to change about the current situation that the UPND is finding itself in, where they encourage their members to report in all sorts of places. I was reported in so many places. I think I had to call force headquarters to say I got someone's in Kabompo, this side and that side. Where exactly am I supposed to go? So that clarification was made that I have to come here, because at the end of the day, I think the public also remembers that there's precedence already in the Honorable Nakachinda case where it says that you can't be tried anywhere. You have to be tried in a place where you're domiciled. So at the end of the day, if anybody has got anything with anyone, they should know that this person stays this side and that side, and that's where it's supposed to be. And if you look at also the people that were reporting, they reported the so-called disrespecting the president. They reported the defamation of the president. When we came here last week, we were talking about hate speech.
And in another case, Ms. IMBOELA is alleged to have defamed the State House media director, Clayson Hamasaka, a matter that has gotten her charged and arrested for criminal libel. We spoke to our legal counsel, Joseph Chirwa.
She was warned and cautioned for the offense of hate speech, contrary to Section 65 of the Cyber Security and the Crimes Act. So that one has ended on warn and caution. Then after we finished with anti-frauds, she was taken to Crime 1, where she has been warned and cautioned, charged and arrested on the offense of criminal libel, contrary to Section 191 of the Penal Code. This was based on a complaint from one Clayson Hamasaka.
The Zambia Police Public Relations Unit had this to say on the matter.
It is alleged that SABOI IMBOELA, acting together with other unknown persons, did publish defamatory remarks against Mr. Clayson Hamasaka through her Facebook page, namely SABOI IMBOELA SI. This occurred between 9th and the 10th of September 2022. The suspect is detained in police custody and will appear in court soon. In a related incident, a warn and caution statement has been recorded from SABOI IMBOELA, age 45, of house number 12698, Delay Road in Lusaka, for the offense of hate speech, contrary to Section 65 of the Cyber Security and Cyber Crimes Act, number 2 of 2021 of the laws of Zambia.
Well, it seems before the defamation law could be revised, more people, especially politicians, will be casualties. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Kafioyo Town Council Chairperson Wumba Malambo has dared those protesting against her, stating that she will not resign. Monday, Kafue United Party for National Development UPND members protested against what they termed as poor running of the council, further expelling Ms. Wumba Malambo from the party, calling for elections in Kafue. Reacting to this, Ms. Malambo says she would not bow down because of a few who are going against the wishes of the voters who put her in office. She explains that the same group that fought former Kafue UPND Mayor Thomas Zulu until he resigned and joined PF, causing Kafue to go for by-elections, has started this war against her. Mrs. Malambo has, however, promised to stand her ground and continue representing the people of Kafue.
For a donation, the donor or the company would donate millingly, and the procurement will register. I never receive cash from anyone, and the records are there for them to check. So this is simply politics. It's 2026 that people are looking at. It's pure hatred. It's also pure malice and slander. And I mean, as a nation, even as people, those that were protesting, we need to appreciate when a leader steps out of their comfort zone, they step out of their aircon and the office, and they now go down to the people. We need to clap for that person instead of going the route that they went. I was very, very disappointed, and I reported these cases. They started a long time ago. That was just a tip on the iceberg. I reported that issue a long time ago. The district chairman, the district commissioner, and many other people, I had reported those issues. And some people, big senior party officials, have been sending cadres to my house, pointing a gun at my son, you know. So I feel like the government and the party itself should be able to protect female politicians like myself.
Citizens First Party President Harry Kalaba says Zambia risks losing the food security it has enjoyed in the last 5 years if government does not seriously address the distribution of farmer inputs to small-scale farmers countrywide. Mr. Kalaba says the country may experience a food crisis next year because of the late distribution of fertilizer and other agricultural inputs. The opposition leader is also disappointed to note that the rainy season has begun without fertilizer and seed reaching the farmers. And Mr. Kalaba says the United Party for National Development, UPND's obsession with the past administration has affected the management of the agricultural sector. Meanwhile, some farmers in Kanchibiya constituency of Muchinga province have complained that they have received 7 packs of fertilizer per cooperative of 60 people. Zambia's Republican President Hakainde Hichilema has called on all Zambians not to relent in keeping the country, the continent and the global family safe from the scourge of the COVID-19 pandemic. President Hichilema says years of neglect, a lack of servant leadership and blatant corruption has set back the healthcare system whose challenging state requires the total commitment to resolve. The president says he is pleased that the pandemic has been controlled in the country and that there is increased rate of protection from the disease using pharmaceutical and non-pharmaceutical interventions. He has since thanked the entire donor community for making it possible for Zambia to reach 70% vaccination coverage. The head of state said this at State House Tuesday during the marking of 70% vaccine coverage against the COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
And once we were given this opportunity to serve the people of Zambia, we walked back to our campaign messages. One of our campaign messages was that we will fight the COVID-19 head on. And hence, one of our initial steps was to dedicate a team to spearhead the fight against COVID. Very clear in our minds, and hence the appointment of Professor Slengi as COVID advisor, who has done a tremendous job. Sometimes Zambians make fun of us. This new government is always talking over a process, system, methodical. What is it? You have to have an organized system to fight anything, even to fight household poverty.
This is Camnet TV and not just another channel. You're watching the main news. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Chainama Hills Hospital has come on board to assess a 35-year-old mental patient of Lusaka's Kanyama constituency, Nawanyi Sioto, who has been housebound for 13 years. Camnet News on the 25th of October 2022 carried the story of the said man who is living with his 65-year-old mother and 8 other siblings after the death of their father 2 years ago. Meanwhile, Camnet News also spoke to some of his siblings who have expressed hope that all will be well with their brother now that relevant authorities have come on board. More in this following report.
This family of Kanyama compound in Lusaka has been through it all in the last 13 years, seeking help for their mentally challenged family member. They state that they have been to various churches as well, hoping that the patient will be well. 65-year-old Namangolwa Sioto, a widow, lives here with her 9 children, and among them her son, 35-year-old Nawanyi Sioto, who has been housebound since 2009, shortly before writing his grade 9 examinations, as he developed a headache and then mental problems. Medical officers from Chainama Hills Hospital have taken interest in the story, which was first aired by Camnet News on 25th October 2022, and visited the family Tuesday morning to assess the patient. A clinical officer for psychiatry, Antonio Piri, says the situation of the patient will require admission at the hospital for further monitoring and remedy.
We want to recommend an admission for him so that he may be assessed or he may be seen on a regular basis so that we can see where the problem really is coming from. Because if he was able to talk like a month ago, he was able to talk, meaning there is possibility that he can talk. So maybe it could be psychological issue that would want to find out. Yes.
Mother and sister of the patient have expressed hope that he will be well now that concerned parties have come on board to assess the patient.
So kulingana wamene bakambira tizavikonga kuti tione Mulungu amene adzatitandizira.
Isa tifuna betandizira omutandizira chifuka ankala time aitali mu nyumba sachoka ankala baisha be mu nyumba naise timankala chosasimvesa mushe ku mutima timankala odandaula so chabe wampempelako so chabe Mulungu ekande yaziba kuti azakapola deya so ndiye mutiyembekezera.
What now remains is for the patient to be admitted on Wednesday 9th November 2022, and the family is now calling on well-wishers for financial support to ensure that the patient is safely transported from his home to the hospital. We will follow the matter to its conclusion. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A community-based organization aiming at combating early marriages and other vices has attributed the increasing number of teenage pregnancies to the lack of in-house training from parents on sexual reproductive health, as well as the lack of police presence in most rural setups. Speaking to Camnet News, Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights Director Richard Nkua says relevant stakeholders should encourage parents to normalize such talk with their children to ensure that they are well informed both at home and at school. Recently, the Solwezi District Health Office revealed that it has recorded over 1,600 teenage pregnancies in that district so far in 2022. More in the following report.
Whereas concerted efforts from stakeholders advocating for gender equality seem to be pointing Zambia towards the attainment of gender equality by 2030, happenings in certain parts of the country seem to be pointing in the opposite direction. This is the case of places like Neganega in Southern Province, Chirundu in Lusaka Province, and Solwezi in Northwestern Province, which have proved difficult in curbing vices like early marriages and teenage pregnancies. The lack of change in these areas has become a source of concern for stakeholders like the Concerned Citizens for Justice and Human Rights, whose director Richard Nkua has attributed continued incidences to traditional norms that prevent parents from engaging their children on sexual reproductive education, as well as the poor police presence in most areas. He notes that it is for this reason that places like Solwezi District are producing record numbers of teenage pregnancies, standing at over 1,600 in 2022 so far, according to the District Health Office in that area.
You find that where there is a problem, where there is a police station, you have to drive a long distance. For example, like what is happening in Neganega and Chivombo, you find that where there is a police station is Mumbwa or either Westwood police station. So you find that also it is contributing. People are not reporting such cases to the police because of the distances. Most of the people, they cannot afford to carry a number of people to go to and report the cases to the police.
In a separate interview, Zambia National Education Coalition ZANEC Executive Director George Hamusunga has also commented on the matter.
We need to ensure that we provide sexual reproductive health services to our learners. We provide access to that. Because what you need to know is that these children are not only getting pregnant, but they are also having unprotected sex, which is not only detrimental in terms of their continued stay in school, but also detrimental to their good health, because then they are now exposed to dangers of HIV and AIDS, as well as sexually transmitted infections.
They have called for urgent remedial measures to be taken to ensure that both boys and girls are kept in school. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Community members in Singonya ward in Monza district have called for more sensitization on how to access the Constituency Development Funds CDF. Community member Ms. Aluna Haliondo says women and youths in the area were interested to apply for CDF, but that they were ignorant of the process and the procedure. But a concerned Monza resident and businessman Mizinga Chimbambuka has embarked on a sensitization drive in the communities in an effort to help them access the funds.
While the new Dawn government has increased the constituency development funds from the previous 1.6 million kwacha to the current 25.7 million kwacha, some local communities in Monza district are still facing challenges to access the empowerment funds due to lack of information on how to access these resources.
2 years. Process igaenda, but up to now we're not jiboneged.
Mbotuta jisuru hibarwa kuti no ejintu jendwa kuti muri benzu manthu akarangira kuti pamwe parembera vambiro oti ejintu timwazudirira kuti mwataka chitaka kuti twabona ali baro batira kuti kamusoso mtu akamba tinoswe tura chitabo kuti ndiza tuite papa.
Cooperatives, as the president advised, where cooperatives and clubs were formed, but the only problem is on the part of approvals. Nga tibaba approved bajita inamba jo bajita approve ni honto mani.
However, a concerned resident Mizingachi Babuka has taken it upon himself to sensitize people on how to access these funds.
Cannot access that money without a club. So you formalize your paperwork. Once you formalize, make sure that this club is registered. That is your money, please. You should thank the government for the president for bringing this money to you. It's your money. Use it. We want everyone to benefit from that money.
Trying to intensify by doing some radio programs which are more impactful.
The need for intensified community awareness on accessing CDF cannot be overemphasized at a time when the government is implementing the decentralization policy. Frederick Macha for ZANI'S News in Monza District, Southern Province.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Are you going in grade 6, 8, 10 or 11 in 2023? Waste no time. Born for Greatness Tuition Center will be opening to the public in Kablonga, Lusaka. Quality and experienced teachers guaranteed. Limited space available. Call and book for your child now on
0962 382535.
Classes are starting on 5th December 2022. Born for Greatness Tuition Center, learning for reigning in life.
Welcome back. And now in international news, Tanzania's population jumped by more than 37% in a decade to reach 61.7 million. President Samia Suluhu Hassan said Monday as she unveiled the results of the national census. The East African country's population grew from 44.9 million in 2012 to more than 60 million, according to the census carried out earlier this year, with Hassan saying the numbers reflected an annual increase of 3.2%. With a larger population, more efficiency is needed to match with the current challenges and current numbers, the president said. In other news, UN rights experts decried Monday the lack of accountability for the stark dehumanization of African migrants after many were killed trying to cross from Morocco to Spain in June. More in international news.
Tanzania's population increased by more than 37% in a decade to reach 61.7 million, President Samia Suluhu Hassan said Monday. The East African country's population grew from 44.9 million in 2012, according to the census carried out earlier this year that was unveiled by Hassan. With a larger population, more efficient services are needed to match current numbers in order to face the existing and upcoming challenges. Such population might not be a big deal for a huge country like ours, the president said, but it's a burden when it comes to allocating resources and delivering social services. Consequently, she advocated preparing development strategies. Tanzania's financial hub, Dar es Salaam, is set to become a megacity, meaning a city home to more than 10 million residents by 2050. That same year, the population is projected to reach 151.2 million.
In a historic ruling, a UN-backed court in Central African Republic on Monday convicted 3 militiamen of crimes against humanity and handed them jail terms ranging from 20 years to life. They were accused of taking part in an attack by the 3R armed group in May 2019, in which 46 villagers were massacred. This is an historic event for the Central African Republic and for the victims. We also want the Special Criminal Court to continue to track down certain big fish. There are others who are in the city and we need to get our hands on them. But congratulations to this court for this decision. All the organizations of the society that I coordinate and the coalition of civil society organizations on the Special Criminal Court, we applaud this decision. The 3 were acquitted on charges of torture committed as a crime of war. Defense attorney said the defendant would file an appeal against the ruling. They have 3 days in which to submit their petition. The alleged atrocities were committed during the regime of former President François Bozizé. UN rights experts decried Monday the lack of accountability for the stark dehumanization of African migrants after many were killed trying to cross from Morocco to Spain in June. The incident on June 24, when around 2,000 mostly Sudanese nationals tried to enter the Spanish enclave, marks one of the deadliest attempted crossings in years. The UN Rights Office said at the time that at least 23 people had died. But in Monday's statement, the UN Special Rapporteur on Contemporary Forms of Racism, Racial Discrimination and Xenophobia and the Working Group of Experts on People of African Descent put the toll at least 37. The experts said they condemned the continuing lack of accountability for the stark dehumanization of African migrants at the perimeter of Europe. Thorough investigation, reparation to victims and their families, as well as guarantee of non-repetition, are required under international human rights law, they said.
Let's now have some sports news. Green Buffaloes Women Football Club striker Natasha Nanyangwe has revealed that the team has worked on the finishing aspect and hopes to score more goals in Wednesday's 2022 CAF Women's Champions League Group A match against ASFAR of Morocco. Team Dr. Major Malita Kasongo has declared a clean bill of health ahead of Wednesdays, while coach Charles Halumono says the team is ready to collect maximum points. The kickoff will be at 21 hours.
Lingo on the right, looks for options, finds them, and surely that one will be the second, and it is Nanyangwe.
that goal, it really boosted my morale. Going into the next game, that I'm really hoping and believing that I will score again in the next game. Yes, we really worked on finishing. What the coach told me was to be very clinical at goal and have confidence when I'm in front of the goal and score. Yes. And when we sit together as strikers, the main things that we really talk about is utilizing our chances. Compared to the last game that we played, we missed a lot of chances. So the days and the minutes that we sit together, we usually talk about utilizing the chances that we have.
Okay, so the girls played their first game on Sunday, the 30th, and they'll be playing their second game tomorrow. From the assessment, all the girls are okay. The initial game, they sustained just minor bruising, but nothing too serious. So we managed the bruising, there's no serious injury, and they're good for the game tomorrow.
We are expecting a win, yeah, like we planned earlier on. Our plan was to win all the group games so that we can qualify to the semi-finals. ASFAR is a highly tactical and technical team, and it looks to be very consolidated. The game I watched the other day, I think they're a very good side, but we prepared well for such type of teams, so I think we'll be up to the task. Yeah. They are very good in defense, so we'll try by all means to put the ball to the wings. If we put the ball to the wings, I'm sure they will drift and open up the middle part of the goal. So then we bring in crosses. Yeah. We'll be able to open them up. We will play a compact game. We shouldn't allow any goal, but we force to get goals.
That football note brings us to the end of the news, but we'll take a look at the headlines once again. State House official takes on NDC President SABOI IMBOELA on a defamation case. Former Home Affairs Minister Stephen KAMPYONGO pleads not guilty to 11 counts. President Hakainde Hichilema implores citizens to get vaccinated as Zambia reaches 7th target. In international news, Tanzania's rapid population growth worries authorities. And in sports news, Green Buffaloes women football club aim at scoring more goals in Wednesday's encounter against ASFAR of Morocco. Our Camnet verse of the day comes from the book of Ephesians 1, verse 18. I pray also that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened, in order that you may know the hope to which he has called you, the riches of his glorious inheritance in the saints. Thank you once again for watching the news. I'm Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.